Like Father, Like Son. Written by Justin Key. Illustrated by Summer Jyoti Das. Honk, honk! Mr. Brown zoomed into the empty parking spot. He cut in front of the driver who had been waiting to park there. The other driver looked mad. Mr. Brown glanced over at his son, Mark. "Why wait?" Mr. Brown said with a grin. Mr. Brown led Mark into the hardware store. The family's lawnmower had broken down. Mr. Brown wanted to buy a new one. When he got to the store, the lawnmower he wanted was gone. The store clerk apologized and said they would have more mowers tomorrow. Mr. Brown looked up the aisle and spotted his neighbor, Mr. Small, pushing the mower he wanted to buy. "Why wait?" Mr. Brown said with a wink. Mr. Small let go of the mower to pick up a shiny red gas can. Mr. Brown grabbed the handle and began pushing it away. "Excuse me," Mr. Small said. "I'm buying that mower." Mr. Brown folded his muscular arms across his large chest. He stared into Mr. Small's eyes. "I found it sitting in the middle of the store," Mr. Brown said. Mr. Small was scared, so he walked away. Mr. Brown spent the afternoon working in the yard. As he pushed the mower into the garage, he saw Mark holding two race cars above Mr. Small's twins. "Those are ours," one twin yelled. "Give them back." The other twin began to cry. Mark smiled and held the cars even higher. "Mark," Mr. Brown yelled, "come here." Mark ran over to his father. "Why are you being mean to the twins?" he asked. "They said I had to wait for my turn to race," Mark replied, "but I want to go first." "You have to be fair to others," Mr. Brown said. "You should wait for your turn." "But why wait, Dad?" Mark said with a grin. "You don't." Mr. Brown looked at his son and then at the lawnmower. "Come on, Mark," he said. He pushed the mower to the Smalls' front door and knocked. Mr. Small opened the door. "This belongs to you," Mr. Brown said. He pointed to the mower. "You had it first. I was wrong to take it from you. I'm sorry. Please take it as a gift from me." Mr. Small looked at Mr. Brown in surprise. "Thank you," Mr. Small said. The next day, Mr. Brown watched Mark race cars with Mr. Small's twins. He smiled when Mark waited for his turn. Mark wasn't the only one who had learned a lesson. That afternoon, Mr. Brown went to buy a new mower. He had learned a lesson too.